The Guild is Maximum Lawyers' community of legal entrepreneurs who are taking their businesses and lives to the next level. As a Guild member, you'll build relationships, be held accountable, and learn strategies specifically designed to get you unstuck and accelerate your plan for growth. Members are also granted exclusive access to masterminds hosted around the country. Our next event is coming up, and we're heading to Scottsdale, Arizona. There's something truly magical about the power of these in-person connections where real-time breakthroughs happen. Picture this. You're surrounded by like-minded law firm owners tackling your business and mindset challenges together. The energy is electric, the insights are transformative, and the results are game-changing. Investing in yourself is the best decision you'll ever make. The knowledge, strategies, and breakthroughs you'll gain are priceless assets that will supercharge your practice and propel you forward. Join the Guild and secure your ticket to Scottsdale at the best possible price by visiting MaxLawEvents.com.
Run your law firm the right way. This is the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. Your hosts, Jim Hacking and Tyson Mutrux. Let's partner up and maximize your firm. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. I'm Jim Hacking.
And I'm Tyson Mutrux. What's up, Jimmy?
Well, you know, one of my favorite episodes of all time was Law Firm Website Roulette. That was great. But I think this next episode is going to go down in the annals of Max Law history as a truly great episode.
Yeah, I think this next guest is the most phenomenal guest we may have ever had. She's spectacular. And she found out about the podcast about a minute ago. So that's even better.
Yeah, so our guest today is Becca Eberhart. You guys all know her. Most of you know her in the big group and in the Guild, of course, for all the wonderful things she does for us and for the wonderful conference that she just put on. Becca, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. That was a wonderful introduction.
So, Becca, tell us a little bit about yourself and about your journey.
Yeah, tell us your journey.
My journey. My Max Law journey?
Just in general, how'd you end up hanging out with us clowns?
Well, about 2 years ago now, you guys had put an ad out through Horkey Handbook with Gina Horkey looking for a virtual assistant. And so we got started, and not too long later, I want to say it was maybe like 6 months or so, I went from being part-time with you guys to full-time with Maximum Lawyer. And that was just a few short weeks before the pandemic hit. And really, we've just grown a whole lot since then.
Yeah, so we have really grown since then. I mean, you've been a great asset. And I mean, most of the things we're doing right these days are because of you. Most of the things we're doing wrong is because of Tyson and I. What is
Hey, don't use my name first, okay? Because it's Jim.
Always, all right, because of me. Anyway, talk to us a little bit about what it's like working for two different people. I know that Tyson and I are pretty different personality-wise. And what advice do you have for people that might be listening that have partners or multiple people that they respond to?
Yeah, I mean, you guys might be different, but you really give and take a lot on different things. And I think that's really helpful. I think that when you're working with people like that, just being as self-aware as you both are is very, very helpful when it comes to us coming up with ideas and making really big decisions.
What are some things, Becca, that you think we should be doing differently?
I don't know.
We're really going to put you on the spot here.
You are. We need to grow faster.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's part of what we're working on right now. We're bringing on another team member. So we're going to have that. Right now, really, what we can provide, whether it comes to content or membership or events, all really comes down to our capacity. And so we're going to grow the team. And then I think that we're going to be able to bring more to the group as we grow the team as well.
Well, I think that's great because the three of us have talked from time to time about sort of Maximum Lawyer is sort of like a baby law firm, a stage one law firm if you're using maximum law minimum time. So I definitely think that there are a lot of lessons that Tyson and I could transpose from our days growing our firm to growing Max Law. What in particular would you like us to focus on? When you say we're not growing fast enough, I think you're probably right. But what do you envision?
Well, we also have a meeting coming up very soon to talk about the vision. I guess I'm not sure. I have about 2 more weeks for me to gather all my ideas and then come and spill them all to you guys. But I'm not sure. I mean, we've just recently added the quarterly masterminds to the guild, and I'm very, very excited about that. I think that that's going to be a big part of our growth. I think that's something that they've been wanting, and I know that the pandemic kind of stalled that as well, but I think everyone's ready to meet more than just one time a year at MaxLawCon. So I think having more in-person events is going to be really great, and then really just growing what we provide inside the guild as well.
I wonder what your expectations were coming into this job compared to like what it's actually like. Will you talk a little bit about that?
Well, they've definitely changed a lot for the better. But like I said, when I started, I'm pretty sure that it was advertised more as a part-time virtual assistant position. And at that time, I also didn't understand that there was going to be the opportunity to be a part of a team. When you get hired as a virtual assistant, a lot of times you're just a task person and that is it. You don't actually, a lot of times virtual assistants don't even understand the business that they work for. They're just doing the tasks that are assigned to them. And so I'd say that that's one big change that happened between starting and then going full time and then even growing from there, is really being a part of this team and being a part of growing the business.
Yeah. And I think that to me, where you've really add a lot of value. I mean, you definitely keep the trains running on time, which is really nice. You know, the meme Monday goes out, that the messages for new members go out, that all those things that Tyson and I didn't necessarily have the time to do, but knew were important. I mean, I think that's one of the great things about having you. But I think the real value is that you've really helped us because you sort of study other Facebook groups, other mastermind sort of groups or coaching levels. And I think that you really bring a lot of sort of the expertise of coaching, which I think for the most part, you've taught yourself as far as how to structure this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do really love the infopreneur style business is kind of what I refer to what we're doing often. And we have a lot of different aspects to this, which includes the podcast and the membership and in-person events. But I think that a lot of infopreneurs have all of that. And what I like to do is I like to follow other people who don't serve other lawyers or law firms, but they're doing the same thing and seeing how they're growing and then bringing that back here.
So we've got the podcast, we've got the conference, we've got things like the Zapathon, the events, we've got the quarterly guild masterminds that we're going to be doing. We've got the guild. Are there any other products or services that you think we should be adding on to the Max Law brand?
I don't think I have any big idea right now. Like I said, I'm actually really excited about, we're just adding in those masterminds on the guild. And I think that's going to be huge. So that's one thing that I'm really excited. It's December now. So in October, when we had the conference, that was just my first conference with you guys. And while I think it was a great success, I have a feeling that there's so much more that we're going to add and that we're going to do, and it's just going to keep getting better. So I'm also excited that we're already all in on planning next year's MaxLawCon as well.
Becca, you've, as an outsider, consumed a lot of our content. Either you're helping to edit it or you're sitting in sessions at the conference. You're hearing a lot, probably a lot more than you ever wanted to hear about law firm ownership. What have you noticed about the people that are in our world that are the most successful?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing that I was pleasantly surprised with when we got going with this and when I was more involved in listening to everything is that our most successful followers, members, people who contribute are the ones that have the growth mindset. And I feel like, because I've actually been there, years ago, some people truly don't believe that that's important yet. And you can really see the difference in those people that they understand that, I am a lawyer and I am a business owner, but there's also this mental aspect, this positivity that I need. And the ones that really understand the personal development side of it, those are the ones that we see grow the fastest and the most.
What is your favorite question that you've heard one of us ask on the podcast?
Oh my gosh.
So here's what I'm going to do. Once you tell me that, I'm going to ask you that question.
My favorite question. I don't know. What's a question I want you to ask me? I don't know. You guys talk about so many different things. What do you want to know, Tyson? You tell me.
I don't really have anything, but I'll ask you the one that I ask a lot of people.
Okay.
What is the thing you struggle with the most?
Probably just wanting to execute all of the things and then having to focus on them one at a time and grow it like that.
Talk about that a little bit more. Like, what do you see that on the law firm side, and what do you see for that on the Max Law side? Like, how does that play out?
Well, maybe I can talk about the Max Law side and we can just compare it to a law firm. So on the Max Law side, like I said, we're already planning MaxLawCon 2022. We're also we have a January mastermind in the guild coming up. So we're planning that, and then we're going to roll right into the next quarter. I want to be doing all of these things at the exact same time. And then I also have ideas for all of them at the exact same time. So the good thing is I'm a list person. So all of my ideas go somewhere and I have them, but I really struggle with wanting to just being able to do it all at the same time.
The Guild is an insanely productive community of lawyer entrepreneurs with a growth mindset who share their collective genius and hold each other accountable to take their careers and businesses to the next level. But in 2021, we are upping the game. In addition to exclusive access to the group, FaceTime with the two of us, discounted pricing for live events, and front seat exposure to live recording and podcasts and video, we are mapping out for members the exact growth playbook with our new program, Maximum Lawyer in Minimum Time.
As a Guild member, you'll build relationships and experience content specifically designed to complement your plan for growth. For a limited time only, the Maximum Lawyer in Minimum Time program will be offered for free to all new Guild members. Join us by going to maxlawguild.com. So one of the highlights for me at the conference was literally being in the control room with you and Tyson and sort of hiding out because everyone was looking for us, right? And it was fun. But I know this list of which you speak, and I remember you saying, we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing this. And they better not try that again next year. Like, that shit's not going to fly. I'm going to get these slides in 3 weeks or 4 weeks early. Like, if they don't want to do it, they're out. And it's been fun as we have sort of a short turnaround going from October to June. It's been fun watching you really implement those directives that you called out. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I mean, we're a small but mighty team. And so what I found is just having the structure, having the SOPs, just having these standards are really going to help us grow and really streamline a lot of things that weren't streamlined before. And so that's what we're really working towards, adding to the team and then adding to those processes and just making those really clear are going to not only make it easier and better for us, but make it easier and better for everyone who collaborates us, who are our speakers, who are our sponsors, just everything.
I want to go back to the conference for a second, because whenever Jim was talking about being in that control room and all that, I want you to think about when you first saw just everyone at the conference. I guess, what were your thoughts and what were your feelings?
I really think that it's an incredible thing that we have going here. And so not only am I really proud of this company and this team, but also everyone who wants to be a part of it. Again, for me, yes, I'm in a room with a lot of lawyers and people in this industry, but what I really was in a room with, which was a couple hundred people who wanted to grow themselves. Yes, they wanted to grow their businesses, but they also want to grow themselves. And I do get really excited about that, really excited about the personal development side. And I do feel like everyone who was there really understands that and wants to be a part of that.
I had a lot of great moments listening to the speakers, and there was that one, I think it was the first afternoon, where like 3 Guild members in a row presented. I think it was Russ and Mo and Steven. Were there any moments that really stuck out to you where somebody said something or, something changed your mindset or anything that sort of jumped out at you?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to think of a specific, because there was a lot of things going on as well. So while I was hearing some of them, I was kind of back and forth in between all of the rooms. I'll be honest, I liked the messages to kind of, even when we were wrapping up the conference, I feel like there was quite a number of people who had to miss out on some of that. And so I'm kind of excited for a lot of people to hear those playbacks, but kind of just, I felt like it was really impactful when we heard from some of the members in the audience. I really liked that. I liked how relatable that was. So Jim, you had pulled a couple of people up on stage, and I think that people really like to hear that. They like to hear from other people where they are and where they're going and why they're getting there, because they heard something at the conference and they're going to implement that when they leave.
Yeah, I think we should end the conference with Mike's two rows and people just line up and say the kinds of things that they want to work on.
Yes, that would be very cool.
It's a good idea. All right, my last question, and then Jim, he'll have one more question because we got to wrap because he's got a call at 10 o'clock. Were you drawn more to the woo-woo stuff like Jim likes, or were you drawn to more like the hands-on practical stuff when it comes to the conference?
It's both, because I'm about 50-50 myself. So I have grown to recognize the value of having that positive mindset and then wanting the personal growth and, following people and reading things and consuming content that has to do with that. But also, as Tyson said, I was a nerd at the conference. So then I also have this part of me, the type A, I like the SOPs. I like the lists. I like to have all of these procedures. So I'm really a mix of both. And honestly, I think that it takes both.
Yeah, it definitely takes both. And I think that we always need to remember at the conference to have sort of both those types of content interposed. I think that's important. So we are soliciting submissions right now for the conference and transitioning from that question about, do we like the woo-woo? Do we like the standard operating procedures and checklists and those things? And obviously we want both those things. What advice do you have for people, and how can they go ahead and, if they want to be up on stage, if they want to make a presentation, maybe walk everybody through it? And then any tips that you have, having seen the presentations and the suggested presentations that we've gotten over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a featured post in the Maximum Lawyer Facebook group, on the Maximum Lawyer Facebook page, on our LinkedIn page, and an email went out. If you cannot find any of those, you can always email me, Becca@MaximumLawyer.com, and I can get you the link. So this year we're doing a Google form application to be a speaker for MaxLawCon 2022. And within that form, you're also going to submit a 60-second video pitch. The idea for the video pitch is that we can really get an idea of the type of speaker you are. So we want to understand what kind of content are you bringing to the audience, but also what is your energy like? What is your speaking style like? So that's what we're looking for. You just drop a link to your video in the Google form and you could submit it there. We are going to take those until January 15th, 2022. So that's going to be our cutoff date. If we get enough submissions and we fill it before then, it's going to be open until filled. Otherwise, the cutoff date is January 15th. And then kind of like I said, I think some of the tips would be just make sure in your video that we can really understand your personality and your style. And then also just convey what value are you bringing to the audience, because that's what we're really most focused on. That's what the attendees come for. So we want to know that value that you're going to bring.
Good advice. All right, we do need to wrap things up. Before I do, I want to remind everybody to go to the big Facebook group, join us there. Lots of great members there sharing great information. If you want a more high-level conversation, join us at the Guild, MaxLawGuild.com. Remember to get your tickets for MaxLawCon 2022. Go to MaxLawCon2022.com and get your tickets before they go up at the end of the year, because they will go up again. And I guess I can ask Becca, what are the rates? What do they go up to at the start of the year?
Yeah, so we're at $997 right now for early bird special, and then general admission is going to be $1297 after the first of the year.
Yeah, so get them in before the end of the year, because there is a jump. Jimmy, what's your hack of the week?
All right, so I'm reading a great book. It's called The Everyday Hero Manifesto by Robin Sharma. I've read most of his books, and it's a tad woo-woo, but it's also something that really pushes me for excellence. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing it on the treadmill and doing the audio and the actual physical book. So it's sort of a little bit clunky on the treadmill. But the point that he raised today in the part that I was reading was asking ourselves this question: what is something new that we have tried? What is something new, and that we really sort of can turn over the topsoil of our life by trying new things? And so with me, it's working with this physical trainer that I'm working with for weight loss and exercise and strength and stuff. So I'll ask all of our listeners, what is one thing new that you've tried recently?
Yeah, what was the question? When was the last time you tried something for the first time or something like that? That's a good question. Really fun question. So good stuff. Becca, what is your tip or hack of the week?
So my tip is going to be related to what we just talked about with the MaxLawCon speakers. So I wanted to encourage the people who, when they heard that we were accepting pitches for speakers, they kind of got a little excited. And then their next thought was, oh, but I couldn't do that. So I want to encourage the people who felt like that when we put that out, you should go find the link and you should apply.
I like that. That's very good. That's very good. Becca and Jim, that's funny. I put your name on there and I can't say it. But have you ever been on a Zoom call? and then you wanted to show someone on your phone, like that's something that was on your phone. Have you ever had that situation?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you can do that now with Zoom. So in the share, if you click share, there's a little thing that says, and it's on a Mac. I don't know if you can do it on a PC, but it says iPhone/iPhone via cable. You can actually do that, but there's also one that says iPhone/iPad via AirPlay. So you can now show your screen on your phone via Zoom. So it's a really cool function. So I didn't know about it until fairly recently. So if you want to show someone something on your phone, you can now do that. So pretty cool. It's a good feature for us for depositions because for TrialPad, we have it on our iPads and we can actually share iPads. So pretty good. So Becca, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hey guys.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. To stay in contact with your host and to access more content, go to MaximumLawyer.com. Have a great week and catch you next time.